Can Tank Davis sleep Frank Martin? My answer to you guys is absolutely. Tank can sleep anybody. Tank can sleep guys in, multiple different weight classes, even those above his weight class, and he can beat the best fighters in the world. He's just that special. He's just that much of a specimen. But he's been talking a lot on social media back and forth with Frank Martin, talking about, I'm gonna sleep you, and then Frank is responding saying, no, it's actually you that's gonna get slept. But man, it's hard to bet against Tank, man. I think a lot of people are always talking about, if Tank solidifies his career, he solidifies that he's bigger than Canelo if he can knock out Frank Martin. I think, I agree with Tank. Tank responded, said, I'm already there. I already surpassed Canelo in terms of the face of boxing. I'm that guy now. But yeah, I would agree, and I think that he also can do both. He can do both, but at the same time, I agree that Tank is already the face of boxing, because who's really getting fans excited about the sport the way that Tank does? I think it's all about what you give to the fans, and I think every time Tank performs, he gives the fans what they want to see, and that's ultimately an exciting performance, whether it comes in the form of a knockout or the one decision fight that he did have with Isaac Cruz. It's still a very exciting fight. I think people just don't want to see the rematch because at the end of the day, they think that Tank has more potential to make bigger fights right now, and I would agree. I say, Isaac Cruz doesn't beat Tank, that's 100%. 100% version of Tank probably stops Isaac Cruz. I think that's why, a lot of us boxing fans aren't really interested in that fight, because it's like, Tank beats him, then what? You were supposed to do that. So why not see him against a guy like Frank Martin, who's a legitimate lightweight, who's a legitimate lightweight contender, who has the ability to potentially become champ one day. But, obviously signed by Errol Spence, so a lot of people talk about the fact that, Errol has to go against Tank and Tank has to go against Errol. These guys are, went from friends to foes. But I think it's ultimately just business at the end of the day. Tank has to, take out Errol's guy, and Errol is inevitably Frank Martin's promoter, so he has to stick by Frank. But I think deep down he knows that, Tank could probably stop his fighter. I think Errol knows what's coming for Frank Martin, but Frank definitely has the tools and skills to pull it off. It's just a matter of, can he come up with the right game plan, and can he execute it come fight night? Because against everybody has a plan against Tank until you get punched in the face, like Mike Tyson says. So everybody has a plan until you get hit in the face. But especially against Tank, because we know that he's a slow starter. We know that Frank Martin's probably going to bag some early rounds pretty easily. He's going to get a little bit comfortable. But when Tank turns that up, what happens? How is he going to react? Is he going to be like, oh, what's hitting me right now? Like, is he gonna let him into the fight? Because if he can close that door, if Tank takes a slow starter, he's gonna let you do whatever you want the first 2, 3, 4 rounds. Like, he'll even give you 4 straight rounds. You could bag them, take them to the bank, cash them. But ultimately, when that 5th, 6th round hits, he's gonna turn a switch on. When he turns that switch on, what's gonna happen to you? Are you gonna start, backing up? You're gonna start giving him that respect, or do you keep that door shut against Tank and not let him get back into the fight? If you can do the latter, then you're gonna have success. But ultimately, every opponent except Isaac Cruz has fallen short in terms of letting Tank back into the fight. They've all let him back into the fight, all let him get his confidence, and have let him dictate the pace of the fight. And that's ultimately what Tank does. He's not gonna start round 1 go at you. He's too strategic to do that. He likes to set traps. So imagine fighting a guy. It's basically like you're sparring, like it's practice. So you're having success. You're having success for 3 to 4 rounds, and then this guy starts to turn it up a little bit. When he turns it up a little bit, it's a lot. When it comes to Tank Davis, it's a lot. So how do you react to that? How do you combat that? How do you stay composed against a guy like Tank? He cracks you with one shot, and you're like, oh, that was the first shot, but now I have to readjust my whole game plan, because that's the power they were talking about. So now what happens now? It's only the 4th, 5th, 6th round. Like, you have the whole half of the fight to go, and now Tank has the momentum. He's putting that momentum on the side. The crowd's getting rowdy. You're hearing that energy. All of a sudden, you guys are even, and it's coming to the 10th, 11th, 12th round. It's time for Tank to close, and I think he does that against Frank Martin. I think, ultimately it's going to come down to whether or not Frank Martin can keep Tank away from him, can keep him at bay, and it's not easy to keep. I don't know if Frank has the power to keep Tank off of him. Tank at a certain point starts to walk to and through people and set traps. Can Frank Martin's, you know, swim without getting wet? That's the question at the end of the day. And I think against a guy like Tank, he's not going to be able to do it. It's not sustainable. Like, realistically, the best fighters in the world, including Devin Haney, including Shakur Stevenson, those are the two guys that I think have the true ability to really, like, keep him away. But I just don't know Frank Martin. His style tells me that he might be in some trouble. Just, you know, his last outing, you know, just getting hit in general, just getting hit. And we know that from Tank, it's only going to take one. It's going to take one shot, change the whole course of the fight, change all your confidence, all the success you've had from round 1 to round 4. That's how it's going to go. You know, the first few rounds, Frank Martin's going to have a lot of success. He's going to start gaining some confidence. He's gonna, in his brain, he's going to say, this is it? This is Tank? I'm going to beat this man. But that could, you know, end up not playing in his favor, because ultimately, if you get too comfortable, he's going to set something up for you, and you're going to land he's going to land a shot on you. But if you can keep that level of discipline, stick to that game plan, you might have some success if you're Frank Martin. And I think that if he can hold on to that for as long as he can, you know, throughout a 12-round duration, make it boring, make it an ugly fight, tie Tank up if you have to. You know, slow him down. Whenever it seems like he's going to set a trap, tie him up, you know, smother him, you know, get on top of him, get physical, do whatever it takes. At the end of the day, these guys, they come into these fights. I'm not saying, you know, I know more than these fighters. I'm just saying there's a pattern of what goes on in these fights where Tank inevitably turns it up to the mid to late round. So when that happens, start frustrating him. Get rough in that. When you're in that pocket, you're throwing shots. You land yours. Don't give him a chance to counter. You know, tie him up. Land your jab. Tie him up. Land a right hand. Tie him up. Make it boring. That's ultimately what you have to do. Ultimately, you can't let Tank get into a rhythm. If Tank gets into a rhythm, you're ultimately going to get stopped. That's just the way it is. Against any other fighter, you might get away with it. But if you allow this one dog to you know, gain his momentum, it's going to be over for you. And if you let Tank open that door, he's going to come barging in, and you know, it's going to be a short night for you. Like, ultimately, that's ultimately what it is. You have to be disciplined. You know, look at Ryan Garcia. Had some success, you know, cutting the ring off. You guys watch that fight back. He was cutting the ring off well. You know, better than a lot of other fighters, you know, today. That's one of the things Ryan Garcia is actually good at, cutting off the ring. But ultimately, he couldn't keep the distance. He was like, oh, I kind of want to fight. You know, I don't want to keep this fight on the outside. I'm getting bored. I want to go at him. And then that's ultimately what he did, and that's why he got caught. You know, it's a lack of patience, a lack of discipline. It's that sense of urgency. You have to control it. You know, we all want to fight. You know, all these fighters, they want to fight, but ultimately you have to hold yourself back. And that's what Rolly did. Ultimately was having a great game plan, putting that pressure on him, got overzealous in the 6th round, you know, overcommitted, and Tank capitalized. That's what you can't do. You can't get comfortable. You can't lose that sense of discipline. Stick to the game plan. No matter what success you think you have, no matter how hurt you think you have him, just wait. Just wait. You don't have to stop Tank. You don't have to stop him, but he could stop you in a second. So be smart. You know, that's what I think Frank Martin needs to do. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Can Tank sleep Frank Martin? Can he, you know, stop him? I think we would all agree that he can. It's just a matter of, can Frank Martin, you know, have success? Can he do something that no other fighter has been able to do? And that's to beat Tank Davis. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Who you guys got? Frank Martin versus Tank. I got Tank. You know, in the mid to late round. I think he just turns it up and probably stops him around the 9th or 10th round. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's been your boy, Matt Nabong with NazFight Media. Catch you guys next time. Peace. That's going to do it for another NazFight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.